Welcome to the Overheard podcast, recorded live in Banff. My name is Dan Rudel. With me always is my electric co-host, Matty Rage.
Let's go.
Electric.
Let's go. I like
Electric.
it.
That's a new one I was trying out today. Very special guest. We got Mat Hendricks. Some people might know him as Hendo, in the studio with us today. Welcome.
Thanks
for having me, boys. Yeah,
very excited to have you diving in. It's great to catch up. It's been a minute.
How's the week, buddy? How's the week?
Week's been good. Yeah, just it's now festival season for us. Every weekend seems to be something fun, and building a few different pieces to move around with us, which is cool, and just amped for the snow season to get going here. And
heck yeah,
lake's open, baby.
I was at lake today, got my t-shirt. We were there bright and early.
Yeah, sweet.
They actually leaned into the We Waxy 500 thing this year, so the t-shirts actually say like We Waxy 500.
I saw it. Piper was like, "I want one, Daddy." I was like, "Oh, we're late to the hill. Sorry, sweetheart."
It's amazing. So like normally, for those that don't know, locals kind of talk negatively about the opening as like, "Oh, you went to the We Waxy 500, like you're trying to fight for 500 people to get turns." But it's not even that bad. I went. It was great.
Yeah.
Great to get out there, going fast again. Yeah, it gets busy, but like you go for an hour or two, you know, get the legs
laps,
back.
Quick shaft, you're good to go.
There you go.
Speaking of which, we got those bad boys.
Speaking of which, we got a little bio we're gonna read. If you haven't met Hendricks before, if it is your first time joining us, please give us a like and subscribe. Helps the pod a lot. The more numbers we can get, the more great episodes we can bring you. So please give us the honor of a like and subscribe.
No doubt.
Hit the little bell. So Matthew Hendricks, been in hospitality for over 25 years, coming up on 21 years in Banff this coming February. He's got a fabulous wife, Sarah, and a soon-to-be 6-year-old daughter. It was always a dream to grow up in a place like Banff, and now he gets to raise a family here. Started making a name in the bar scene back in 2008 while working at Banff Park Lobby Lounge, so a lot of people might know you from there. Cocktails became a passion, was excited to grow the culture in Banff, which I think you did a fantastic job of.
No doubt.
Working at the Balkan, crazy ice skills. I think we've discussed this in the past.
Yeah,
your
I nerded out for a long time.
passion for ice,
Yeah.
which has become a focal point in cocktail making.
right.
So I'm kind of ahead of the curve on that. Over 1 million mojitos, and even represented Canada in the Jameson World Bartenders Ball, where he flew to Ireland. And absolutely sent it with other bartenders from all over the world. In 2014, distilling became a career when asked if you had any interest in becoming the master distiller at what is now Park Distillery. You mentioned that was probably one of the most challenging and rewarding jobs that you've had.
Yeah.
That's where we worked together, spent a lot of time in that building. We'll touch on that a little bit later.
Totally.
Won Best in Class Platinum for your vodka in a global spirit competition. Big congrats on that.
Very good.
Tons of awards were coming out at the time. Since then, you've launched Shaft on Draft, barreling over 200 barrels.
Woo.
No, that was the whiskey. Sorry, barreled over 200 barrels of whiskey in your
Park,
distilling career.
Yeah.
7 years distilling. 2017 started Bow Valley Beverage Solutions to help bring Banff's beer pouring and tasting quality go up, which I think was very much needed.
Yeah, it was.
Neglected side of the business sometimes, especially in some of the older venues in the town.
Couple of rough pints back in the day.
Yeah, we just blamed it on too much Jaeger, but really it was dirty beer lines.
Since then, has sold the company to Dave Keogh, which was our last week's guest.
Last week, yeah.
So I kind of had some continuation there.
Yeah, it was a good
if you
flow.
haven't checked that episode, go check it out.
It's a 2-part series.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, 2-part mini-series.
I would say we're kind of in the same realm,
Me and him will be together for a trilogy, right?
There you go. Bring it back.
I would love it, honestly. 2021, decided to start a cocktail company to help the service industry that were heavily short-staffed at the time, giving tools for bars and restaurants to serve 100% real cocktails, or 100% real fruit juice cocktails in seconds, building the house of brands byHendo, the cocktail company, On Tap Cocktails, Shaft, Highlight, L Cocktails are individual brands, just to name a few. Now listed in Western Canada in over 100 bars and restaurants, over 300 liquor stores.
Yeah.
The longest resume I've ever had to read on the show, for sure.
How do you keep up with all this, man? That's
just
crazy. That's wild.
every day's a good day. That's the motto,
Every
right?
day is a good day. Oh God. Well, let's get into it, buddy. What brought you out here? What's your classic I packed a suitcase and came to Banff story?
Yeah, prairie kid, so from Saskatchewan, and
Nice.
you know, when turned 18, it was all about hitting on girls and wanting to snowboard. So what a better place to come to than Banff, and you know, I didn't even really know what it was, and I had a good buddy from high school that was already out here from the year before, so I had one person, one connection, and drove out here in one of those like pitch black dark nights where it was clouded over, no moon, and I didn't even really know where I was or going, and you know, get through the park gates, and he was at Castle Mountain Chalets working at the time, and went in there and partied with all his friends, got to meet all these new people. This was like lovely. And then I woke up, didn't know where the bathroom was in the morning, went outside to go take a leak, and I look up and I thought I was like in the Flintstone era where there's just giant mountains around me. I was like, where am I? Right. And you know, that just turned into never leaving, and 21 years later still here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow, 21, eh?
Especially down at Castle Mountain Chalets, like it's definitely
it's in the mountains. Yeah,
in the mountains.
You're not like walking to town for anything. You're not walking to town to go grab.
No, definitely not. I think they do sell. That's like a little roadie spot if you're on your way back from the lake.
There's a little general store in there. You might find some of our
100%.
cocktail cans in there, right? Yeah.
So very common story. You knew someone here, came here, loved it.
Yeah.
I think that's what draws a lot of us in originally is the party scene, and a place that everyone's kind of away from home, so everyone's in that same stage of life where they're out mingling and making friends and being involved in the social life and
being
stuff.
A shithead, just getting into
Big
tomfoolery.
time.
Yeah, how it goes.
Every day, all day.
So what makes you stay? It's not the easiest place to kind of live long term. Why do you do it?
Yeah, I think it like really clicked for me about year 3 when I realized that we were in a national park, and outside of the strip of Banff Avenue of late night bars and partying, the endless trail systems, the backcountry camping, rock climbing, ice climbing, even this world-class golf course. Like there's just so much stuff that was here that I wasn't even being part of because I was up till 5, sleep till noon.
Yeah, it's hard to get up and
kind of get up and then work again at 5. Like it just, you know, once I realized that, and like that old saying of either, you know, like you get chewed up or spit out or you survive, and I just happened to coast through onto that side of it, but still while being in hospitality and food and beverage, and just like fell in love with this town and the people that are around here and the mountains that are around.
It's a good vibe. It's hard to leave. Like once you're here for a bit, it only takes like a month or two of chilling out here, and you're like, oh man, like you'll go back to the city for a night or two or something. You're like, this is not what I'm about, dude. Like this isn't
as soon as I get into the city, I'm like, get me back to the mountains.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And a great point. Like this place has a lot to offer outside of the party scene. And again, myself through my journey, I've been experiencing that more and more. Backcountry camping, I think, is the next one that I want to get into. I've been watching tons of climbing vids this week at the film fest. So I'm like, I kind of want to give a send on a climbing route, give that a little go.
I'd be good at climbing. You want to go?
You probably. I'd
I'm
give
lanky,
it a go.
dude. I climb like a spider monkey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we got the rock gym right at the cellar.
I know.
Get you strengthened up, and spring will be here in no time.
So, what got you into the hospitality industry? Was it just being here and not really having choices, or was it?
Well, it actually goes back to like when I was 13. So hospitality for me started at my grandmother's curling rink restaurant in Weyburn, Saskatchewan.
No way.
Wild.
I know, dude. And so it was like,
couldn't be more prairie.
it was built into my
job.
blood, and like helping grandma out, and like every weekend, all the bonspiels and everything. And then that turned into the job in the city in Regina when we lived there, and you know, was working at Simply Delicious for like 4 years, serving breakfast on weekends, and then moved to Banff. So it's like all I really knew and had done, right? And then landing at the Banff Park Lodge, working in at the time Chinook, which is now the Crave, and learning that, and then down into the lounge to learn cocktails. So it's really my life. Like that's what I've done since day one.
Well, it's same with me, I guess. Like at my first job, one of my first jobs was at a crazy breakfast restaurant, just farmer, like middle of nowhere breakfast restaurant, tiny little place.
Yeah.
I think it was like 6 till 2 was service. You get there at 5, set up, cook till 2, go home by 3. It wasn't fun. Not when you're like 14, 15. You're like, I don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to go to work. Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
I had
dude.
the
Like,
best reward out of it all. So for 2 years I did that, helped grandma out and
oh yeah,
never got a dime, like just helping grandma and like hanging out
right.
with grandma. And then when I let her know I got this job at Simply Delicious, she called me up. So me and dad went up there and she's like, I want to pay you for the time that you put in and really help me and get the business going.
Oh, cool.
She gave me her car.
Oh,
So I was
what?
15
Wild.
years old, got keys to a
Wild.
1986 Oldsmobile two-door
Sick.
Cutlass Calais that I couldn't drive
Nice.
because I didn't have learners, but
Yeah.
that was payment. And like that there built that work ethic of like
Cool.
work hard, rewards come. And it just like it
For
really
sure.
clicked for me and I'll never forget that moment. And that was the car I drove through high school and had lots of good fun.
Well, I'm
So-
glad you touched on the start of your work ethic because we got some
Yeah,
very
no
specific
doubt.
questions about that later. Because I
Okay.
definitely want to pick your brain about that. Because for those that don't know, I worked with you for I don't know,
Yeah.
a couple years, I
Yeah,
want
a
to
few
say.
years, yeah.
And I've never seen anyone get stuff done at a rate that you get stuff
No
done.
doubt.
And it's something that I definitely want to pick your brain about a little bit later.
Okay.
So you went through a little bit of your beginning through hospitality. How did you know you wanted to get out from behind service or the bar and branch out into something bigger? Like, what was that turning point?
Yeah. So like moving through the cocktail career and then being fortunate to work with the Greeks at the Balkan and when they were
Right.
starting to grow as well. And,
Right.
and I had an opportunity that I was going to move up in management with them. And, you know, what Park is now wasn't what it was supposed to be originally. And I'd go manage that place. And,
Yeah.
and so it fell into lap essentially of being an opportunity to take on a distilling project. And,
Cool.
and that like paved the way to where we are now.
Yeah, the distilling project, very
Yeah.
big project.
Yeah, that was
right
good.
on Banff Ave. For those that don't know, that was huge. Like,
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
the time, what you were doing there was
Well, that was like, yeah, that's like the first cocktails brewed in Banff, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Or
Yeah, it was like
distilled
one
in
of the
Banff,
first
like it-
distillery restaurants in
Right.
even Canada or North America, and
yeah.
you know, very fortunate to have the opportunity to ask to be part of that program and
for sure.
and work with the team at Park and to build that out was pretty rad for sure.
I would say
doubt.
the same thing from my experience there, especially working under you and working for a bar that had a cocktail program. Like you weren't just a bartender, like you were part of the culture and like part
Right.
of
Right.
part of the creative process. Even like you gave us a lot of free range and like there's always
Okay.
competitions, whatever. And yeah, I would say I learned a lot of my time there too, especially in a venue like that.
Yeah.
Well, were there any mentors for you that helped you make that transition from behind the bar to master distiller?
Yeah, like, you know, there wasn't lots of the distilling side of it to look at because there was
Right.
like one in America, High West Saloon, and
Mhm.
and you know, I think Eau Claire Distilling had just opened before us, so
Right,
like
right.
they were so fresh too. But I definitely like watched and engaged with Stavros lots. Like
Okay.
that man is
Cool.
a
Yeah.
self-educated dude. He works so hard and he gets things done and project managing, and he was learning a lot by himself. So having someone like that I was working under and he took me under his wing for things like that, really engaged. And then on brand development inside, like Katie was the master of it, right? Like
Right.
she was
Absolutely.
really strong and passionate and understood. And when she saw that I could be involved with the brand, it was like, okay, well, let's understand what this program could look like, having a distillery in a backcountry cabin in the middle of Banff Avenue. Like, what can we
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
So being able to work with them and understand the program and then learning distillation as we go, you know, on the fly and understanding what that is, you know, it made a good trifecta, right?
For
Yeah.
sure.
Nice.
For
Yeah.
sure. It was like I consider it like a privilege to be a part of that at the time,
Yeah,
especially
it's
like
so cool.
taking over from Matt and getting to spend time with Matt and learning from him and then
Yeah.
kind of transitioning to working under you was just like, yeah, it was learning at a high pace.
doubt.
There's always something new going on, cutting edge and cocktail making. Like
Yeah.
we're
Well, I was-
kegging and carbonating in the kegs and
Yeah.
like that was just
I was at the liquor
So
store at
much
that
fun.
time.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So that's where I met Hendo originally, and like, yeah, there was always something crazy going on down there, and it was kind of cool because I got to see not only them, but like he said, like Eau Claire and those guys, kind of like just starting to take off, which is pretty cool. Like even from someone who's kind of like was in that industry,
Yep.
but not
For
really
sure.
like at the distillery itself. It was kind of cool to see like the growth and like how it went, like different recipes and like different stuff, and like it was
Yeah, because the retail side came like quite a bit later, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like the first summer was like seat of the pants, make sure the bar would survive.
Yeah.
What we
Yeah.
thought would be like 500 cocktails would be our busiest day. You could get into like 800, and it was just like wild. So that was important. While the distilling equipment was still being finalized and everything, and then we like cracked our first bottle in like the October of that year, where we opened in May,
Right.
and then just feeding what we were consuming alone, and getting the BHC restaurants and like getting them all prepared, and that it eventually got to where we can then produce that much inventory to sell outside our doors, and then made a play as a big guy in the market, but still small as a fingernail in the world, right?
I remember some of like the first orders at the liquor store were pretty small. It was like, this is what you got. There's what you got. Like, that's what we got left
And if
over.
it sells out, there's a retail store around the corner.
Here you go. Yeah.
What would you say would be your biggest obstacle you faced in that project specifically, and how would you overcome it? Like, I know space was always an issue there.
Yeah, space was a challenge, that's for sure. Not having a forklift was a big one.
Lots of manual labor.
Yeah, and even like electric pallet jack, there's just nowhere to put one or even move it. Like, so it was a lot of like, oh, I need to move that an inch. It's like, take everything off the skid, move the skid over an inch, and then put it all back on. So that was, and then also just being in like a restaurant that's milling grain and distilling booze and being safe, and then also trying to turn up volume, and like, where do we put it all after it's done? And so that definitely was a challenge for sure. And then just wanting to grow, like all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, to get costs down, we need to go buy a shipping container of bottles. Cool. Where do we put the shipping container? Right. And
exactly.
And it's just
never-ending process.
So just like learning all those challenges and then working through them, and
one thing after another, just building on.
Exactly. And then, building a team was also fun. Like, it was challenging and fun. Like, there wasn't a mass, or still isn't even a mass pool of craft distillers that you can just like pull from. So finding that is hard, and building a team that you want to work with and that can work together in small rooms, small spaces, and and growing that. So that was like really rewarding to be able to educate, and my passion move into those guys.
And I think you did a really good job as kind of being the leader of that project as far as the distilling and the bar team. Like, working so closely with the service staff, I think really represented that vision, and like there was really passion there when we were there. Like,
totally.
Yeah, we took pride in
we're making our own spirits for our own cocktail menu and developing flavors and profiles around it, and
it's crazy.
Barrel aging cocktails, and there was just so many cool things that we did there.
So much going on. Anyways, you've come a long way since then. I'm hoping you'd like to share some advice for anyone that maybe wants to branch off and start their own business here in the Bow Valley. Because it's definitely not the easiest thing to do.
No, definitely not. And like, I think there's like two things. Number one is just, you have to go do it. You can't say it. Go register a corporation. If you don't know how, there's simple websites now, like ownr.co is a Canadian made website that you can literally get your business registration, your papers, business numbers, GST numbers, all off of that. It files everything for you, and you can just get it done, right? Where a lot of times it's like, oh, I got to fill out paperwork, I just never get time. This takes seconds. So you just got to go do it.
Cool.
And then the other is like, hard work pays off always. So being an entrepreneur is challenging, and long hours, and stress, and managing stress. But what I've learned in all of it, everything I've done, is just hard work pays off. So give her like your life dependent on it, because it is. And if you put in the time, it will pay off, and build your team so that you can get your life back to where it was before starting to wear every hat. Right?
Man. Some great advice. I think your first answer of just going and do it is a very common reoccurring theme on this show. We kind of ask everyone that comes in, whether they're a DJ, a comedian, a master distiller, or a cocktail wizard, like, how do you get the first thing you got to do is just get started. Like, same thing with the pod. We put out one episode, now we're 30 some episodes 39 episodes
today.
in.
Cool.
And here we are today, so I think that's a very good point. Just go out there and do it. We'll get back to getting stuff done later, because like,
what's going on with you these days? What's new? You brought us some goodies here, did you?
Yeah. Like, a lot of the products that we play with, and this house of brands that we've developed under byHendo, and it's a portfolio now. So we have an umbrella, and It all started with On Tap Cocktails, which is now ontapcocktails.com. And then Drink Highlight was our first all real juice, low carbonation, shake the can to mix up the juice, which was, starting to become a bit of a trend, but still was all seltzers at the time. So it was, it was unique to see the difference. Yeah, like we were doing something that was different, but still in an RTD package.
Well, I think COVID really kind of pushed that product more into popularity with the whole take and grab and go stuff. So like
you're drinking at home, and I can just have a can.
There you go, right? So
and then L Cocktails is our tequila line, and Vacation Vibe is the styles there, and then of course Shaft is like our biggest and best bread and butter that we've got, and it was on tap, and now we've got it in can, which is really cool, and it's been our number one seller like 4-1, and then something that just came off the canning line just the other day. I'll get into here. You'll start to see this show up right away. It's our black can. So this is a non-alc Shaft, so 0 proof, clean energy drink as well. 3 ingredients rather than our classic energy drinks out there.
I'm so hyped for this.
Yeah, right. You taste Shaft.
It's been so long.
Yeah, cheers.
Let's do it. Thank you so much for bringing these. And again, for those that are looking for a healthier energy drink alternative, I'm a coffee fiend, so I can't wait.
Oh yeah. Buddy, we're going to have to start drinking these for the show instead of cramming all those coffees in.
Oh, man.
Dan's already halfway through.
I like it. I'm also seeing on the side, gluten-free, vegan, espresso, nitro-infused.
Nice.
And natural caffeinated. Naturally caffeinated.
Yeah. So it's
I love
the real deal. And people are going to, I think, be amped on it. We've had a lot of feedback from the market, and what we've learned is you can take a sip of that and add your own vodka if you want to make Shaft, 100%. Or you just want to pick me up. There it is. We're really going to go and be part of the university crowd, and like you're studying late, need a wake up that's not a Red Bull or an energy drink, right? Like this can be your alternate.
100%.
Red Bulls always make, like, no matter the energy drink I have, like just those like taurine, gorine ones, like you just feel like ass after.
And they got that like medicinal flavor to it,
and it's chemicals. Like, let's get real here.
It's not good for you in any way, shape, or form. But
that is fantastic.
For now, this is available at Townhouse as an exclusive. We haven't sold it anywhere except for, I guess, Lake Louise, Ski Hill, and Rosencrown Banff does have it.
Okay, nice.
But if you're looking to give it a shot and want to see what it's about, Andre at Townhouse has it all there for you, and we'll probably just stick with him for a little while here, and then branch it out as it grows. It's got to start with one store and keep on going after that, right?
As you do, for sure.
Yeah.
So, like, how did you perfect this and get it to the way it is today? Like the way that you've got it just presented, and you could just take it home with you. And
so for those, a little bit about like the Shaft history, right? Like,
we should get it. I guess
we should probably do the Shaft history.
Sure.
So it's shrouded in mystery. Okay.
There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of people claiming the origins. There's a bar in Calgary. There's bars, I think, in Victoria that claim it as well.
Yeah.
Which is strange because you'd think it would be more a BC thing if it was started in Victoria, but. What's your take on it?
I've heard it all. And like for sure I've got my own opinion on it, but it's heavily known in Calgary for sure. It's known in the mountains in the valley here.
It's a must.
Right. And then like Victoria knows it as well, if not even deeper rooted into the culture.
Really?
Yeah, than Calgary. Okay. Yeah. And then even like Kelowna, it's everywhere now, and everyone is just going to bars for a quick Shaft, right?
Sick.
So it's growing, but I'm gonna keep my own like opinion to myself of like where it
fair.
Right?
You don't want to be put on record of the origin.
But and then like my home markets are definitely consuming a bunch of it, but at the same time Victoria's dummy and kegs of mine too. So
okay, sweet.
Yeah,
because one of the comments was like BC doesn't know about that on like one of our social medias was like, I'm sure they do.
Well,
I think it's more of like, I thought it was just like a ski town.
No, it's like I think it's been around like 30 plus years, and I've been drinking it for 21 years here. Started for me at Lake Louise Village Grill, first time I had one, right? And
same for me, I think.
Right. And but like we've also have great restaurant venues that, like Craft Beer Market, for instance, they've got 7 locations in Western Canada, and they are a full true believer of Shaft, that it elevates the energy in the room. You're not just drinking Jaeger bombs, blacking out. Hello.
How we doing?
Good,
Great, brother.
And yeah, and so like they've been able to like preach the word out there too, and,
For
and
sure.
enter into markets, say like Vancouver, that doesn't know it as well, but yet across the water they know it extremely well. So they're helping build brand and culture around it as well, and it's slowly growing. Like people know what it is, and
For sure.
and we've just kept seeing this like incremental growth across the board. And as we start to move east after going west, we're gonna start to see some educational components, and
Love it.
Hendo might go have some fun in other places to
Heck yeah.
teach people what shaft is,
Teach
right?
them what the shaft's all about,
Yeah,
baby. Well, Chase, we're just having the new non-alcoholic can shaft, so
Yeah.
we're ripping these out.
Soft
They're pretty
shaft is
dope.
what we're nicknaming that
The
one.
soft shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, the white can's hard shaft and the black can soft shaft.
Oh my god, I love.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm a fan of the soft shaft myself. Not gonna lie.
Oh, Dan's right. There.
So the shaft obviously was like it was a lit. Everywhere you went, it was kind of prepared differently. What are some of the ways that you, in my opinion, perfected it?
Yeah, it was shaft on draft is what really made it become
Right.
even more mainstream than it is, because
For
it's
sure.
unlimited. It was always Murphy's Law. You go into a bar, 80 order shafts. The bartender was making them and ran out at 7, and
Yeah.
now they're
I
trying to
remember
like
It was always.
yeah.
It was, like I remember Fatty one time. I asked for like 9 of them or something for I think it was Guillaume or Vince's birthday, and it was just like I don't have that much coffee, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, right. It's like 12 o'clock at night. They probably don't have coffee on right now. I forgot. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to deal with hot coffee.
They're trying to
and-
chill it, and it
yeah,
sucks
they-
because then the other ones are watering down, and so yeah, so by putting it on tap and making it essentially endless,
Mhm.
you run out on tap, go tap a keg, and there's 250 more shafts on the line again,
yeah.
and it can just go and go and go, and it allowed those big bars like the 400, 500, 600 seat party
Right,
bars,
right. Yeah,
again
big
like
time.
a craft beer market in downtown Calgary style,
Mhm.
to be able to offer this experience to their customer and not worry about having to 86 it because
Yeah, not
they
burn the
ran out of
staff
coffee, like
because like it is a process. Like
oh, to even brew that much coffee and
Yeah.
store it and then like hope it doesn't go off. Like coffee does go off, right? So
For sure.
you got to be able to deal with it, and yeah, so that was the be all for it, is to get it on tap and go, and it's just spread like wildfire.
And I must
So-
say, from like a bartender's perspective too, like from making that 2 or 3 pour drink to
Right.
on tap, let's
Yeah.
go.
Turn a
Oh,
tray and you can
Yeah,
pour 10 of them in like 15 seconds.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
like how was that process going from an ambiguous bar cocktail to like an actual recipe that you can put in a can? Like how was walk us through that process a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, like the on tap is different than can.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
So on tap, I'm trying to mimic what a bar is making, and
okay.
and that requires ice and dilution, right?
Right.
And then when you're in a bar and pouring on ice, more dilution starts to happen. The server punches it in, bartender makes it. By the time server gets it to the table, and
Right,
by
right.
the time they cheers or whatever,
Mhm.
it has diluted. So it needs to be a certain level of, sweet, sour, bitter, whatever, at a higher strength almost in the tap, and then to put it into
Right, a full
can,
glass
it
of
needs
ice,
to
yeah.
be drinkable from the can.
Right.
And thus the reason why we have ontapcocktails.com as its own brand comparative
Makes
to
sense.
L Cocktails, because the margarita in a can does not taste like a neat margarita off the tap.
Okay.
So that's why they're different
Right, okay.
brands. Like I couldn't, it's
Fair.
like say Kokanee and Kokanee can, Kokanee keg. Those taste the same. You can brand
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But if someone was like drinking the on tap marg and then went and grabbed the can and tasted that, they'd be like, these aren't even the same. Like, how do you make them brand the
Right.
same? So we couldn't. So we had to develop
Interesting.
multiple brands, and that's
Oh,
where the
okay.
house came from.
Cool.
Great concept,
Yeah.
honestly.
Smart.
And I
Yeah.
think like that was a defining moment for me in my cocktail making career, was working with you and having to figure out dilution.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
doing math for
Yeah.
dilution and
Yeah, yeah.
weighing things. I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
it
the
was-
science behind it.
it was
right?
crazy,
Yeah.
man. It was
Yeah.
crazy. so lots more than people think. They think you just make these cocktails and throw them in a can. It's
No.
Oh, yeah, no,
There's a
it's-
lot to it, and formulations, and then making sure it's like there's no preservatives, no fake ingredients, no additives in them,
Right.
and they're still food safe. Minimum 1 year, but we've been now sending our cans for 16, 17 months now, and we still come back as nothing is growing in the can. Nothing is
Cool.
fermenting in the can. Like,
Okay,
so
cool.
we've now got like true over year shelf life. And so we're
Let's
pretty
go.
stoked. Yeah. And yeah,
It's
like
not easy
it
to
allows
do
you to
that,
go
yeah.
bigger. It means you can like
100%.
send them to Nova Scotia
Right.
and know it's gonna be safe.
Well,
or
especially in the craft
cross
market,
borders.
because like for me coming from like selling craft beer and craft cocktails and spirits, like, dude, you got craft beer on the shelf, you might have like 2-3 months, and that's like tops. Like it's pretty much cooked unless it's like a barrel aged, something like a barrel
Yeah.
aged stout. But like, yeah, you got an IPA that's like really nice, crisp IPA. Leave it on the shelf for 3 months. Tell me how it tastes against a new batch. It's like
Yeah.
it dies, man. Like shelf life is
Huge
crazy.
hurdle
Oh
to
yeah, big time.
overcome for
That's
sure.
wild.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
in small batches. Like we're not a Labatt's facility.
Right,
That,
yeah,
right.
it's
Like
not-
we're pretty well set up, but at the same time, like it's just you're not the $1 billion globally shipped
Yeah.
company, right? Like
Right,
you got to
right.
figure that out, and that's where we're at. Yeah.
That's awesome. And now
Wow.
I don't know, I'd say competing, like it's pretty crazy the products that you're putting out.
Yeah, we're
Um,
having fun growing, and we've seen some like rapid growth in the 2.5 years, and so we're capitalizing on that and moving into bigger markets, and bigger markets means bigger product purchases, which ultimately get your cost of goods down, which is what we
Fair.
want for a business, right?
Nice. Yeah.
Absolutely, and get these delicious beverages on your table for
Wow.
as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
What about the Stampede? I think you hit crazy numbers on the shaft at Stampede, didn't you? That's one thing. I
Oh,
forgot to
yeah,
put it in the
that
notes,
was-
but
yeah,
like
that was-
I wanted to ask you about that because it was mind blowing when I heard
Wow.
this number.
Well, what do you think
Yeah.
sets you guys apart? Like in your ability just to achieve goals that most people would see as impossible, I guess, as far as like starting your own business, just pulling those started at the bottom. Now we hear kind of
Yeah, it's like I was saying, it's the work hard. Like,
the
yeah,
go.
just keep going.
yeah,
Just
like
keep pushing it.
I thought I worked a lot when I was building that distillery, and then I started this, and then it's like this is like some 20-hour days, 7 days a week to get this thing up off the ground, and like living on a cot in my production facility was just like living on the bags of grain in the distillery while I'm learning what's going on and like moving around. So yeah, you have to be the one to want to go do it. No one's going to do it for you.
Right.
When you build your team, you hire teammates and to work with you on certain aspects of your business. They're not
Right.
going to wear all the hats. You
Right,
want them to
yeah.
wear all the hats, you
No.
better bring them in as a
Yeah.
partner.
Oh,
There's,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
no way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, it's you have to get it done. You have to lead by example, build your team in the right areas, and it will just start to go.
Cool.
Do you
Very
feel
cool.
like your ability to get stuff done is something that like blew me away when we first started working together, and like the way your projects move is such pace.
No
Do you
doubt.
feel like that's something that you've learned over time, or is that just something that's innate with you that you were like born with?
Yeah. Like I definitely get like the work ethic comes from my parents for sure. Like my dad was big in the construction game and
Cool.
and worked his ass off and seeing that growing up and then just the love. Like I do believe that if you love what you're doing, you're never working a day in life. And like don't get me wrong, I worked hard hours and long
Yeah.
stuff, but I really enjoy it. Like I truly actually do love hospitality, food and beverage. Like I love the innovation. I love supplying, like seeing the look on the face when you take that first sip of
So
soft shaft and you're just like, "Fuck, this is
Yeah.
good." Like
Dan
that's what I'm here for,
Dan got
right?
half of
Yeah.
that can down, I think, in the first.
Yeah,
sip.
exactly. Yeah, you
I'm
gulped,
pumped,
right?
man. I'm
He's been-
pumped.
Yeah.
we heard through the grapevine there was whispers of it, and then Dan has literally told me about it like 50 times now. Oh,
I've
man,
been
I'm
looking
so
my
stoked.
chops.
He's like, I hope
Yeah.
Hendo brings some. He's been going on for like a month now about it. I'm like, the guy is off.
yeah, it's we're ready for it.
Well, I think it's a big market too, right? Like
Non-elk, yeah,
especially
yeah.
for a caffeinated. Like, there's not much caffeinated canned drinks. Like there is the Starbucks, the super sweet stuff.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
super sweet.
No.
It's definitely
It's
palatable.
like 60% less sugar than those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's
60.
why.
Yeah, but still balanced. Like that's
No doubt.
not too bitter. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
too
you
sweet,
could crush these
right?
all night.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll be flying if
Oh,
you do.
yeah.
that.
Dude, I'm gonna be yeah. Watch out, Nat. I'm gonna be caffeinated when I get home.
Oh god. What's next? What's next for byHendo in the house?
Growing
Yeah.
is like we're ready to take it like to the grocery side of the market for non-alc as well as liquor stores. Like their
Right. Yeah.
their segments are going.
Good
Yeah.
idea,
We have ambitions to get into the States and like
Nice.
yeah, just to get down there and educate them what shaft is and understanding that it's not only a party thing that we all know it as, it's also consumed in many households across Alberta and BC right now. The
True.
classic soccer mom just filling her Stanley mug and sipping the summer away. Like
Nice.
it's real.
Yeah,
So
point.
it's a
I
different
didn't even
market
think
that
of
I
that.
never thought of,
I
right?
didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and
Soccer moms love it.
like I can't wait for the rink moms, right? Like
yeah.
sitting there with their
Dude, yeah,
Timmies,
big
and you know
time.
what's inside the Timmy's cup
yeah,
when
that's
it's
what's
not
going on.
steaming, right?
100%.
Yeah. So that's the biggest one, is like to take what we've done for 2.5 years and then like double and triple and quadruple that in another short amount of time.
Nice.
is what we're gonna align ourselves
Sick,
with.
man. Get it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wild.
So
You're on-
always ever growing.
you're
man.
on the
that's
move.
that's awesome.
The guy's on the move, man. Every time I see this guy, he's got something else going on.
Doesn't stop.
Every time I see him, he's got like not even something else, just like another thing on top. It's like,
For sure.
how many things did this guy? Because I remember when Dan booked you, and I remember seeing the cocktails. I'm like, is that Hendo? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
wasn't he doing like the tap service? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, and isn't he doing the shaft thing? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, and isn't he doing whatever? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Just trying to get the story straight here.
Well, that's kind of part of why I wanted to have you on, just to kind of pick your
No
brain
doubt.
about that. Like you've accomplished so much in your 21 years here in Banff, and
Yeah.
a lot of people look up to you in this town. A lot of people have worked with you, and like,
For sure.
yeah, just kind of get that word out there that you've started just like everyone else, you know?
Literally.
Yeah, from humble beginnings. So
Yeah.
No.
I think it's a matter of work ethic and a matter of not waiting till tomorrow to do the thing that needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's very good takeaways from this episode for sure. Do you have any
Okay.
like mantras or sayings that keep you going when times get tough, or
Like I said it at the beginning, and I say
Yeah.
it to myself all the time. Just every day is a good day. Like
every day's a good
Right.
day?
there are some hard days and like stressful days, but you know, I get home and Piper runs up into my arms, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is what it's actually all about. And
There you
yeah.
go.
and you know, and like we're jacked for the ski season, and now she's on the big girl mountain, so it's like okay,
Oh, let's
and
go.
then remembering that I still have this business that I'm like trying to divulge and run, and yeah, just always have a smile, and you know, you don't know what's going through someone else's mind, so treat them as if you wanted to be treated, and
Nice.
just like yeah, like just every day's good.
Awesome.
Sick.
I think I share that sentiment with you too. It's great advice, honestly.
yeah.
For me, like I used to wake up hungover every single day,
Mm.
and now every day that I don't, I'm like, yo, I've
Yeah.
had so much worse days than this. This is awesome.
Oh,
It's almost
boy.
like easy, you know?
Yeah.
Any
And-
you want to hammer this last one?
No, that's on you, brother. You go ahead.
Oh, were we gonna do it the exact same? Do you want to read it at the same time?
I was gonna say we should probably get to some posts. I think
Yeah.
we've covered
Sweet.
was-
most of that last
I was
question
gonna say.
already.
Well, I was
anyways.
gonna. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like, I guess this is more of like a Banff question, but like,
true.
one piece of advice you would have for anybody new coming to Banff that would like to make a life here in the Valley, not necessarily run their own business
Or
you
not
know,
hospitality,
not
just like
just-
from 21 years here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's your one piece of advice from 21 years in the Valley you give someone that's just starting out?
Yeah, like I think from seeing and like saying hi and bye to so many people all over the years, the crew that you get involved with first, or the employer that you seek out, or just happen around a job, that's going to pave your way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
so think about
Good
that,
point.
right? Like, you know, there's lots of jobs during certain times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Housing's tough, so you get into certain situations. Just like remember that we're in a town that you get to be with your friends every day, all day, that aren't spread out across the city or whatever. So that will pave your way. So just keep that in the back of your head. If you want to be here for X, Y, Z, shape yourself into that rather than just going all willy nilly.
Great advice.
Mm.
Great advice about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy to fall into the wrong crowd here in the town of Banff, but
Or good
or the
crowd.
right
Yes,
crowd. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah,
for sure.
good people everywhere.
I've said it before. I have no regrets on my past, and now you know I just get to enjoy Banff in a different way,
No doubt.
enjoying the soft shaft.
Just for you, buddy.
Well, Dan, we didn't do posts today between our two podcasts, so we're I'm calling the order, I guess.
Let's do it. Oh,
Oh,
it's true.
Yeah, we didn't. We
forgot to organize, and we were so excited.
So we pre-recorded an episode for next week.
Yeah,
Just a little snippet about our week at the International Film Fest there.
Banff Film Fest recap next week.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so
Yeah,
we're gonna
cool.
do that, and I might see if Chase wants to jump in and co-host with me here. Then we'll do some posts and shoot the shit. But yeah, so Dan's gone for the next 2 weeks, everybody. So it will be basically just me hanging out, and we're gonna see if Chase wants to fill in the meantime, and We'll get some random people on here.
We got a good segment though for the film fest. So if you've never been, I was my first time and it was great. Yeah. They showed us the red carpet treatment, had us at all the parties. Cool. Got to see all the movies. It was great. But we'll talk about that a little bit next week. Let's move on to the post. What do we got? We have no order. We're kind of going at this blind this week.
Well, I just put them in there as is. But
I might just pull some up because this one's got a lot of oh yeah, you can read that.
So so this is our good friend Hops. So she's doing open decks again. Looks like monthly open decks. So all genres, ability levels, welcome. As long as you're comfortable using the DJ gear provided. 30-minute time slots, booked on first come, first served basis, with priority going to Bow Valley residents, new and old. So if you're interested, hit up Hops. You can find her on Instagram. I thought she had it in there, but I don't see it right now. But you can hit
Hops.
Yeah, it's just Bunny Hops, I believe.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
At Bunny Hops.
At Bunny Hops. And get a slot down there. I believe it's
super
a
inclusive event. I've been seeing clips and stuff. I think they had one not long ago. And
we had Taxi Mike on there a few weeks back as well. Or that was last season, I guess.
I think it was in like the last ones before the summer. But
nice.
Taxi Mike's gonna make an appearance later.
If you're looking to spin and get into it, get out there. Hops is down to throw down.
Absolutely. Looks like it's.
Oh hell yeah! What do we got here? Okay, so this one is kind of a weird one. So there was...
So this one, it reads, out of curiosity, because rent is so soon, has anyone in the Montaigne building been able to get a straight answer about some kind of compensation for the whole not having water thing? So we covered this a few episodes back. Montaigne building, like they had their water shut off
for like
days.
weeks.
Yeah.
It was like
I think it was weeks.
It was weeks?
It was like 3 weeks.
It was multiple.
Yeah, I think it was
2
like
weeks?
3 weeks or something.
Anyway, so the residents are seeing compensation. The comments were pretty crazy about people like, there's recourse for this. Like when you sign a rental agreement, you're signing to have access to water and have access to heat and all this stuff.
That's their part of the agreement. So
everyone's like warning, like make sure you pay your rent and deal with it afterwards. Like
you can't not pay rent if they don't have their services on. It's like you'll still get evicted for that.
They'll settle up later.
They'll get you back at some point. There was a lot of people last time being like, do not pay rent. Like,
so if you're in this building, there's some great comments about the Rental Act and the Tenancy Board.
Yeah.
Too much to read on here, but go check out the comments. This was on Overheard and Banff. You can find this. All the tenants are kind of getting together.
Oh yeah, the boys were just going.
Why wouldn't you? You know,
Oh, this one. This is a good one. This was. So this looks like it says, to the person this evening at Palliser Condos who is chasing a huge grizzly bear around trying to get the perfect photo. You, sir, are the reason why bears get killed. Try to do better. That bear just wanted to get to where he was going. You're lucky he didn't go after you when you decided to run. There was a little video there. I didn't see it, Dan, but
I saw it. So again, I'm not sure 100%.
Fucking with a full-size grizzly bear. Like, what is wrong with you?
Yo, I read
it's the size of a car.
I read another post that the boss was spotted in Harvey Heights like yesterday or something like that. So this is potentially the boss. They're saying it was a huge grizzly bear. Definitely don't get close to take pictures. You're supposed to stay at least, I think, 2 football fields away. We discussed with Parks Canada. Keep your distance. Get your long lenses out if you're out there doing that. Because that's just mental. Man. This is again like the more these bears encounter people, the more Parks Canada has to intervene. Stay away, please. That's fucking nuts.
Chase over here just straight shaking his head. Oh, this next one's great, dude. So this one is a picture of that really nice, like gray laminate floor that they've been putting in all the units around town lately. And it says, just because you put this floor in, don't mean the rent should be $2,500.
Rent's going up $600.
Yeah. Funny enough, this is the floor I have in my building. So this one really hit home. Big shout out JD. He's the one that put this one on Overheard.
Good God.
I haven't seen that guy in a while. Big shout out.
Good shit. All right, what do we got here? Oh, so this is a good one. This is the... Do you want to get into this one? This is the graveyard.
Absolutely. I got this one here. Okay.
The monster.
So this is a very Halloween related post. An absolute roast to the people I saw at the Canmore Cemetery Halloween Eve that were doing a Nightmare on Elm Street photo shoot. You were the oldest in the area with wooden crosses taking pictures. This is a place people go to mourn and say peace to their loved ones. Not a place for you to do a photo shoot. Show some respect. So this person, Community Connection has this this like cancer of people that post anonymously, and it's always the worst post. So the first comment is amazing. It says, "My close friend is buried there, and I know for a fact that he's laughing at this post and the fact that someone did this. Lighten up."
Just wrote it right on.
I definitely agree with that sentiment. Like, if you want a good laugh, go to Bow Valley Community Connection and check out the anonymous posts.
Oh, it's like people get roasted and do some diet. It's just,
or is someone like asking for a recommendation? It'll be like, best blah 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 in town, and then the comments are like, this person's the best. Like, no, that person sucks. This business is the best. There's a bunch of anonymous, like,
it's brutal. But anyways, with the owner of the calico, with the owner with the calico cat with the orange vest / harness, please keep it from using my vegetable planters as a litter box.
This was also on Community Connection, a treasure trove of hilarious posts, as if like someone, like what, the cat's gonna read this, or the owner of the cat's gonna be like, oh man,
that's my cat.
That's my cat. Like,
they talked about my cat. Oh shit.
No more pissing in the neighbor's garden.
Here's another one, anonymous member. Neighbors, please, if garbage bins are full, don't leave your garbage outside, especially if it's full of feminine products. Do better. P.S. Yes, I did clean it up. Gross. Anyways.
Gross,
This is the classics.
This should be standard stuff, honestly.
I mean,
garbage outside, but again, it's Canmore, so Canmore is a bit of a wilder place.
I have no idea why you sent me this picture, Dan.
Because it's sick. Put it up, man.
I'm pretty sure it was Taxi Mike at the last DJ, or one of the last DJs.
It was on Overheard in Banff, and it was Halloween. There's
Halloween.
Taxi Mike, and then the lady with him is
Dressed
up as Taxi Mike. It's freaking awesome.
Damn, let's go. She's got the stash and everything.
The mustache is perfect. The glasses are pretty much the same. They both got straight hair. It's hilarious. Big shout out Taxi Mike. Looking forward to having him on the show in January after he retires, so we can really dive in.
Nice.
Some taxi stories, hopefully.
Let's go.
Awesome stuff. Well, Hendo, thank you so much for coming by this week, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
This is great. It was great to catch up.
Stoked. Everybody, definitely check out the awesome giveaway that I'm doing right now.
Big time.
On social. It's a ski trip for two. I know we're all from here, but we all enjoy hotel rooms, gift certificate restaurants,
Hell yeah.
free ski tickets.
Hell yeah.
It's going on right now. Just have some fun with it.
Where can they find the details for that?
Drink Shaft, Instagram, so at Drink Shaft. You'll see the giveaway posts. There's a bunch of contest rules to follow and your chance to win.
Cool.
Yeah,
very
absolutely. We shared it on our socials today. Go to at Drink Shaft. That's where the contest is mostly being run out of, if I believe.
Yeah, it all there. Yeah.
And definitely go pick yourself up some non-alcoholic shafts. I'm like tweaking off the potion right now.
Oh yeah, Dan's riding
This is awesome. If it's your first time joining us, hate to ask again, but please hit that like and subscribe. Helps us bring you more episodes, whether it's Twitch, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Spotify. Give us that download and help us on this journey.
Punch that bell button as well. You'll see when our premieres go live every Tuesday.
Smash them up. That would be
Smash
nice.
it, dude. Hit
That would
that
be
bell.
real
It's like
nice.
literally right down here.
It's
somewhere.
down there. You hit it up. Hit it up. We'll be back. Well, I guess next week we got a little bit of a pre-record episode. Matt might throw something together with Chase. We'll see who wants to host next week. Bring you some posts, especially if there's any good stuff going on.
Oh.
Our next guest episode is going to be Tuesday, November 26th. We're going to be sitting down with Adam Bortolucci.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You know Bortolucci?
Oh yeah. I even got to hang with him in Canmore within recent.
For sure.
He was slinging some shaft in there.
Yeah, definitely. He's a fan. He's a big fan for sure. He's worked all over. Used to be a Banff guy, Canmore guy. Spent some time as a locksmith. Some might not know this, but we'll dive into that in our episode in a couple weeks.
Wild.
Hendo, can't thank you enough for coming by, sharing some insight with us.
Appreciate the
Man.
invite.
This is awesome. We'll do it again
chat.
sometime. Maybe we'll get we can sit and have a big powwow with the boys.
Oh
There we go.
But yeah, go out there, get to Townhouse Liquor, get yourself some hard shaft or some soft shaft,
Big time.
wherever your penchant may be. If you want to get wild, get the hard shaft. You want to start your day before the ski hill. Instead of that Red Bull, grab yourself a soft shaft.
No
There we
doubt.
go.
Get that in you. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Like every week. See you next Tuesday.